Hello, my friends. How are you? It's Wednesday, 6th of December, 2023. It's time for our spiritual light. And today's topic it is the signs of times. The signs of time.
Of the times. Of the time.
So it's good to have everyone here. And please don't forget to ask your questions in the comments box. And uh, I hope you enjoy. So, good evening, my dear friend Gibbons. How are you?
Good evening, Stevan. Good evening, Charles. Good evening, everyone. I am very well, thank you, and hope each and every one of you are well too. Today we're going to talk about this theme, the times are coming and the signs of the times. And given the situation of our planet at the moment, is extremely relevant, this theme. So hope everyone participates, give their opinions, ask the questions, and I'm sure it's going to be a really good meeting. So boa tarde a todos, bom dia, onde quer que estejam, boa noite. Prazer estarmos novamente juntos. Bem-vindos. Hoje nós vamos falar sobre os sinais dos tempos, e é um tema extremamente relevante no momento, e vai ser importante para vocês participarem, dar opinião, perguntarem, e vai ser muito bom. E que Jesus nos abençoe a todos. Thank you.
Okay. Bonsoir, Charles.
Bonsoir, Stevan. Bonsoir, Silvia. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. Very happy to be here again to talk about this subject, signs of time, as Silvia told, and which is okay. Where are we? Where are we going to? What is happening? It's a little bit frightening when we see all these things around, but there are some good news, at least from the spirits, asking us to stay optimistic because we are in a period of change, of transition. So this is what we will try to clarify today. Bonjour, bonsoir à tous. On va parler ce soir des temps sont arrivés. Donc, pour essayer de comprendre un peu mieux où va-t-on, où allons-nous, où va notre planète. Voilà, avec un ton d'optimisme qui nous est apporté par les esprits.
Wonderful. I can listen to you all day. Okay. First things first, and let's go to our top video. Let me share my screen.
It's tough for us to understand that the difficulties of life that are presented to us may cause us to not perhaps want to do something good because we only see the now and we forget that there's a greater picture involved in everything. There are minute details and we tend to focus on those details, but it's important to remember that those details are small parts of a great machine that eventually will produce the outcome of those things that we want. Whenever we face these small situations, we have to do what is right, what is good, in accordance with our conscience, because we are the best judges of our own selves. The conscience is the best judge of our own actions. So if we listen to our own selves, when we're doing certain actions, certain deeds, we will always do what is right. We will be in accordance with what God expects from us, the right behavior, the behavior that will open up new horizons for us, broaden our vision of life, and allow us to be at peace with ourselves. Because when we don't do what is right, we're not at peace with ourselves. When we do what is wrong, we frustrate ourselves because we know that we are doing something wrong, because we are not following that guide, which is the conscience. The law of God is written within our conscience. And if the law of God is within our conscience, that means that all we have to do is pay attention, pay heed to whatever our conscience tells us. And everything is based on love. God is all about love. The truth is all about love. So if we listen to our conscience, we're following the example of love. We're following that cosmic verb that reigns supreme in the universe. And we're following in accordance in the footsteps of the greatest moral example this earth ever had, which was Jesus Christ.
Okay. Okay. Time, the signs of times. We are waiting for all the time. When you, we are waiting for this time every day, let's say. A lot of people saying, "Oh, now is the sign of times." Then pass some years, "Oh, no, the sign of times." So I particularly say the sign of times is every day. Depends on the choices you make because we repeatedly said here many times, uh, you are responsible for your own actions. And today in our video, same thing. The person who are speaking the video said the same thing. Everything is in our conscious, everything is in our mind. We know what is right, we know what is wrong. It's up to us to decide what we're gonna do. Doesn't matter if the time is bad, the time is good. The final decision is upon us and rely on us to do our best. So, Charles, what's your introductory view?
Yes, so it is, how to say, something happened in 19th century, that's for sure. And what happened is really, if we take even Arthur Conan Doyle, his book History of Spiritism or Spiritualism, he wrote clearly that there had been some kind of invasion of paranormal or psychic phenomenology. So it started with the Fox sister raps in Fox family house, and this first step of detecting an intelligent cause behind these raps and a kind of a dialogue that took place between the cause of the raps and the young sisters, who enabled to get the identity, to that he was a spirit and that he has been killed in that same house. So that was only, I would say, a kind of a trigger who called attention. But then it spread really around the whole world, even in France, where it took a little bit different shape. It was the turning or dancing table or whatsoever, until one man called Hippolyte Léon Denisard Rivail started to look at it a little bit more carefully, a little bit more seriously. It was not just for fun. He really saw behind this phenomenon something very important. Okay, he followed somehow his intuition, his instinct in this way, because basically he came prepared for a mission in this field. And interestingly, is the first book he wrote after having after 2 years of investigation is the Spirits book. And at the very beginning of the Spirits book, the Prolegomenon, we find a sentence that I will ask you if you allow me to read it.
Yeah, sure.
Where the Spirits has told us, where the Spirits assure us that the time appointed by the Providence for a universal manifestation of their existence has now come, and that their mission as the ministers of God and the instruments of His will is to inaugurate, through the instructions they are charged to convey to us, a new era of regeneration of the humanity. So it was clear, very clearly from the beginning. The spirits, they said, yes, it's a kind of an invasion. They even say it's a universal manifestation, communication between the spirits of deceased persons and us here from the intermedium of the mediumship. And clearly, their aim was to refresh all what has already been told and taught across the world from several missionaries. We heard about Jesus in the video, but it's not the only one. Krishna, Buddha, Muhammad, and so on. All of them, in all of this religious movement, there has been some phenomenon of mediumship. So it's not new. It exists since millenniums, since the world exists, since Mathusalem, as we say in French. But the characteristic it took in the 19th century was a little bit different. It got much more frequent, and also it underwent some more serious inquiries and applying a scientific method, who has been developed by Descartes, refined a little bit more by Auguste Comte through positivism. And that is exactly the work that Kardec has done. Now, we can ask ourselves today, this has been told in 1857 or maybe a little bit before when the book was under composition. Where is today this universal manifestation of the existence of the spirits? Well, there are 40 million persons which are sympathetic to spiritism in the world. So it is quite an expressive number already. And you have, how to say, spiritist groups practicing these exchanges, mediumistic exchanges with the spirit, a little bit everywhere. Not all are spiritists, of course. Mediumship is existing in many other spiritual currents, sometimes called channeling or some other names. Nevertheless, what you can see, it's maybe not yet universal, but it has developed a lot. What we need to know, of course, is more than 160 years passed already since the spirits brought this teaching I just read. But we have to remember that 150 years in front of the eternity is just a second or not even. So we have to be patient. But something is coming. The spirits are really now knocking on the door, knocking on our consciences, as we have heard also in the video, to wake us up, and to induce us to go out of this materialistic paradigm, which is a dogmatic one, putting the blinds that is still, unfortunately, the dominant one into the mainstream science and in the academics. But this has to change now and to went to the spiritual paradigm. And this is exactly the message the spirits have brought to us. So there is a lot more to say, but okay, that's for just to start.
Great. Wow. And you, my dear Gibbons.
Turn the mic on. Voila.
Hello. Yes. You want me to talk about?
No, your first thoughts, your first introduction for the signs of times.
Yes. I think my understanding. I've been reading Genesis. Has the chapter on the times, the signs of the times, and the time has come. And you said it's something, every day is something. But we cannot deny that we are very much now living through a lot of the predictions that we saw, in Daniel, and even the very famous prophetic sermons of Jesus. And when you read those words, And the way he explained them, it's almost like we're leaving them now. There is a lot of everything seems to be at the very edge of everything. I think personally, I feel that we are coming very, very close now towards the beginning of a new transformation that the planet will go through. Of course, things doesn't happen from one day to the next. It takes many, many years. And I think the whole idea of the new planet of regeneration have, started for quite some time. And for me, some of those French philosophers of the Illuminism, their ideas were so far advanced from all the philosophers that had come before, that they were showing, and it's interesting that they were called Illuminists, because they were showing a new light for humanity, a new sense of understanding, one that man would think for himself, would take care of his destiny, because until then, for many, many centuries, mankind was completely controlled by the whims of a few people in the church. And I think Spiritism came right at the time when mankind was ready. But, if you think about Kardec, who was the person who came with the mission to bring Spiritism into the light of the world, he was born right in the middle of the Napoleonic Wars. And, but, he had a very different education, and he had a very different standpoint. He already, being born in a family, educated with a religion, educated in another religion, a completely different culture from his own. And it was already this preparation. And we know by the teachings of the Spirit that Spiritism is the third revelation. It is the consoler that Jesus had promised. He said, if you love me, keep my commandments, and I will send you the consoler, who will remind you of everything I said, taught you, and also will bring things that you cannot know now. And that's what Spiritism is. It's a new light for humanity, a new understanding. But those things take a long time. Charles said we have about 40 million spiritists, sympathetic to Spiritism. I'm not sure if you included the spiritualists in them, in that count. So, there are a lot more, but also I think that, we talk a lot about, a lot of people are now abandoning the traditional religion. They don't go to church anymore. Some people become just very disheartened with what's happening. And but it doesn't mean that they have lost spirituality. And I think that's exactly the opposite. The fact that they are leaving this, the churches the way they are, and with all the rules and regulations, and that sometimes does not make sense. But doesn't mean that they are losing their spirituality, because I think that's exactly the opposite. Many people are chasing, are looking for something else. They try to find it in Buddhism, Hinduism, meditation, whatever it is. So in a way, although we don't have that many following Spiritism yet, but I think eventually they will find, because one of the important things that we have, Spiritism gives you a lot of support, a lot of support. I was talking to someone the other day who lost a relative, someone very close to them. They were unable to go and see her, to say their final goodbyes. But they were saying, oh, thank God that I have Spiritism, that I can understand that, the person is only the body died. We are going to see them again. And, all the sadness, it doesn't mean that you don't feel the sadness and the sense of loss. You do. But you also have the hope that you're going to see that person again, that the body only dies, the spirit lives on. And this gives a lot of strength, at the time when you lose someone that's very close and someone you love. And this is very, very good. Another thing as well that I find that, now that we are coming to the times of change, and when a new way of thinking, a new philosophy is needing to appear, and we are going to really have to let go of the old ways, the old past. We have in Spiritism the thing that is not a religion per se, in the sense of other religions, but there is a religious foundation in Spiritism. There is that's taken from all the religions, so you have that support behind you. But in opposite of anything that says in other religions, you cannot do this, you cannot do that, you cannot do that, you cannot do that, because you're going to go to hell, you're going to be punished forever. In Spiritism, there is no such a thing. I think you and Charles mentioned, and that the introduction, the video introduction that we had, talking about your conscience, because in Spiritism nothing is forbidden. You can do whatever you want whenever you want it, but you have to be prepared to also be able to cope with the consequences of what you do. And also, instead of having a punishing God that will send you to hell, it's your own conscience that will hurt you, that will ask for readdress. And I think this is very, very important. It's extremely mature, because when you are responsible for what you do, you are responsible for the consequences of what you do. And there is no one there to, say, to punish you, to send you to eternal hell or something. But it's your own conscience that will call on you to tell you what you've done wrong. I think this, first of all, needs a lot of maturity in the part of the person, but also is something that you will stop before you do anything. Because, I think if there is a way to, if I have to, because sometimes we don't think, what we're doing, what kind of consequences it will have. But then your conscience will tell you, because in the question 621 of the Spirit's book, when Kardec asks the spirits, where are the laws of God written? And they say, in your conscience. So when you do right or wrong, we know something, like in the video, he was saying, something inside us will feel that we've done wrong. And then I think this is very important, because it's a kind of guidance, it's a kind of, you yourself will control your own destiny. There is nothing, someone up there telling you, you have to do this and follow that path. And you yourself will be the guide and the architect of your life. So, and I think with signs of the times we see, in Mark's, in the Gospel according to St. Mark, what they call the prophetic sermon, that Jesus said that would be wars, there would be earthquakes, there would be, don't go back to your home, run, go into the mountains, because things are going to be, kingdom will fight kingdom, government will fight government, a father will go against his son. And I think this is very much being brought now to, to the fore, because there is a division that I think we are very much at the times that we can have to make the choice, which way to, and everything is so, there isn't anymore a kind of, we talk together. You think one thing, Charles think another, I think another. And in talking together, we can but we can talk to each other. We can hear each other's point of view. But, if you hear nowadays, it's almost this is something that we have lost. And it's only, to see some of the demonstrations that are being on the streets lately, that you see there is no standpoint of discussion at all. It's either my way or it's the highway, and I'm right, you were wrong, and we are sort of becoming very, very divided in it. And I think find also, at the same time, said it's a progress. This will have to come. This will happen, and because then it also be the beginning of the transformation, of the change. And we know that we've been promised that we will change. Our planet's going to become a world of regeneration, and science itself is changing. If you think about most of the things now cannot be proved theory, it's all in the basis of theory. And um, but the new discoveries of this, the James Webb Telescope, that is showing a universe that's older than we ever thought the universe was, that's bringing a lot of challenges to the science who thought they had all the knowledge. We are the greatest scientists, we know everything. And now their own discoveries, their own satellites are telling them that they don't know very much at all. They keep finding almost every week something new that challenges their old knowledge. And even very famous scientists who says, "Oh, dark matter doesn't exist, dark energy doesn't exist," and now this thing is actually proving there exists. So I think we are in a time of great transformation, and our planet is going, and there is a lot of pain every time there is a change, there is transformation. Some want to hold on to the past, to hold on to what they have, to their power. But the waves, waves of progress that God wants us to progress, to become enlightened people, will not be stopped. And that's why you have so many conflicts and everything, and our earth is reacting to it as well. But it's hope that there is the spirits. Some of the very advanced spirits are being born on our planet to carry us forward. So the signs are there, but also the moment of transformation are there. So as you said, Steve, in the beginning, this happens every day. It's true, because we who are aware of it should be changing and transforming our lives every day, because the change will come whether we want it or not, and it's better to be with it, and be aware of it and make it happen. So I don't know if I talked too long, but that's what I think.
No, no, no. It's right. You are right. And we can say uh, we are the law of progress. It's a reality. If you want, if you don't want, we will progress. Of course, some progress it is connected to the level of the knowledge of people in certain region, in certain country, but we will progress. And uh, what's I think it's important to understand what's the difference between God's will and progression, because sometimes we progress but we don't like, and you say, oh, God is punishing me, God is doing this, God is doing that. So if everything goes the way you want to, God's the best guy ever you have heard, you know. But we need to there is a silver lining here, because God, it's all of, and like question number one, supreme intelligence. So if he's supreme intelligence and we are spirits, I think question 115, saying we are uh, uh, we are spirits with intelligence. So we are an adjective of God. God is the noun, we are the adjective. So we are a quality of God. So what he wants, it is what we want. But the main point here is we need to we needed to be responsible for our own actions, for our own decisions.
But it's interesting that, oh, sorry, I beg your pardon, because what you were saying is very interesting, because in Genesis, there is a paragraph when, in this article, The Signs of the Times, that he says, everything in creation is in harmony. Everything reveals a foresightedness that cannot contradict itself, either in the smallest matters or in the greatest. Thus, right from the start, we must discard all ideas of capriciousness as irreconcilable with the divine wisdom. So, there is God is not punishing us. Everything is in harmony, and everything has to, I think Charles was talking about the other day about the law of destruction. Things needed to be destructed, so new things needed to be created. And this goes from the very start of the universe. Stars have to blow up, become supernovas, and create all that nebulae and all the dust. And from the dust of stars, new systems will be formed. And it's throughout nature, to the smallest. So I think it's interesting that you would mention something that they explain.
Yes.
Sorry
The
to
law of
burn.
destruction was in Spiritism X 2023 in Maidenhead Saturday last week. But it's also available in the. It will be available if it's not yet. It will be soon available on YouTube. But what's interesting is what you said. God is not punishing. God is infinite mercy. So infinite mercy is not punishing. What God did, He made the universe. He created the universe and He created all the living beings and the spirits who are in the universe. And the laws of nature, the laws which are governing the universe, are perfect. These laws, and they are immutable. They don't change, these laws. So He created us. He did not create us perfect, but He created us, as it is known, simple and without science. So, but giving us this potential for evolution, evolving back towards the Creator, back towards God, evolving to the perfection. But this evolution is up to us because He gave us also the free will. And that is where you told very clearly, Stevan, we are responsible because we are making the choices in our life, good choices, which bring good consequences and good results, and sometimes also some mistakes or bad choices, who will bring an effect which is also not good. And this is how we are learning what is good and what is not good, on top of what is written in our conscience. Our conscience is warning us a lot of times whether we are doing good things or not. And this is exactly what's happening. These laws of nature are immutable. Everyone, rich, poor, intelligent, not intelligent, wise or not wise, are subject to these laws of nature in the same way.
Mhm.
The thing is, when you are in harmony with them, then of course you are growing. The more you are in harmony with the laws of nature, the more you are evolved spiritually, and the more you are happy, basically. This is exactly the path and the way we have to find. And in this subject of today, the time has come, or signs of time. It's exactly announcing us this now. There is a kind of a jump or a quantum jump or a transition from the Earth as it is in the current level of evolution, world of trials and expiation, towards a world of regeneration, as we have read at the beginning, for the regeneration of humanity. So the whole humanity, basically through its members, will improve, will become better. And interestingly, this is not only said into Spiritism. In this, not only the spirits said that. When you go to other spiritualities, you see you have, for instance, the Aquarius era, which is coming, which is also a symbol of transition. The Mayas, they had a calendar, and we are now reaching the end of the Maya calendar, which also is a sign of a change. And several other forms of spiritualities are almost all unanimous in this way, saying that something will change. Now the thing is, okay, what will change? We will become richer with more comfort and more luxurious stuff? No, not really. The betterment will be because there has been so many, Silvia told it already, progress in the humanity. Technologically, the science, the comfort, the cars, the computers, incredible technical progress. Nevertheless, we still have difficulties. We still have wars. We still have selfish people. We still have people in a luxurious abundance with a lot of superfluities, and you have other people in humanity, brothers, sometimes the next door, which are lacking all what is necessary. So this is showing what really has to make this quantum jump. It's for humankind to make reign in humanity peace, charity, fraternity, solidarity, and only this will ensure the well-being of the whole humanity. And this is exactly the progress we have to do. Technological, scientific progress has gone very quickly. Now it's time to bring also this ethical and moral progress to reach a better equilibrium. And that will be the key for this new era. That will be the characteristic of this new era. And there is something on top of this that the spirits are also saying, as well Kardec in this chapter 18 of the Genesis, but also confirmed by the Spirit Emmanuel through mediumship of Chico Xavier, is the following. You know, we are reincarnating on Earth. Humans are reincarnating on Earth, but not only on Earth. We know that there are planets which are less evolved than Earth and other planets which are more higher, a higher level of evolution than Earth. And there can be some transmigration of spirits from higher elevated planets to the Earth. So these are really the good spirits or the guys or the people with a mission here on Earth, doing good. But there can be also some emigration. So people which are, let's say, a little bit behind, that next life maybe will not be possible for them to incarnate on Earth again, and they will reincarnate in another planet, whose evolution level is more or less the level of evolution of the Earth a couple of millenniums ago. And these movements are also some factor which can accelerate this transition. But I would say the tuning, the fine tuning of this coming in and going out is adjusted again by the ministers of God, by the spirits, the good spirits. Because what we see today, humanity, when I was born, when at Kardec time, it was 1.5 billion humans on Earth. When I was born, it's 60 years ago, it was 3 billion. Today, it's 8 billion. Where do all these spirits come from? Did they come from higher elevated planets? Not really. If we look around us, it's not what we are seeing. So, of course, a lot of spirits are still willing to have their chance to take this train of this transition and are incarnating on Earth thanks to God's mercy. So they have a chance. They have the opportunity to show and really to to make all what they need to reform in themselves in order to become better and to be able to stay on this earth. If not, if they fail, okay, then they will, at least for a given point in time, until they reach the necessary level, incarnate on a lower evaluated planet. So there is a lot of things that we are learning about the sign of the time. And Kardec is also commenting, uh, in order to answer to this, how to say, a lot of people saying now it's the end of the world, or it has been so many times announced already, and thanks God it did not happen yet. Huh? And the spirits are also telling it will not happen. Huh? It is not the suspension of the natural law, but their fulfillment. Huh? This is what is happening right now. So all these things are saying it will be the end of the world, the humanity will disappear from Earth. It will not come like this. The humanity may disappear from Earth depending on the attitude of the humanity itself. Huh? If we don't care about the climate, if we don't care about our planet, then there are in today's projection, as a consequence of this very sharp climate change we are experiencing right now, the worst scenario is the humanity will disappear from Earth. So it is how to say, concerning, but it's a good warning for us to take into account, to make such that this will not happen. And for this, again, what is the secret is charity, fraternity, solidarity, brotherhood, and so on. With these values, we will overcome any difficulties. Even 3 degrees heating, we will manage to find a way that most of us will, how to say, be capable to continue reincarnating on Earth, even in these worse material conditions. And by the way, this worse material condition is exactly what will induce us. Okay,
Mhm.
let's go to spirituality. Let's go to the spiritual values. Let's put value on what is immortal and what is eternal, which is our soul, and stop putting all this high value for stuff that anyhow the day we will die we will not take with us. And this is all what is material, all these materialistic values.
Yeah, yeah. And just to validate what you said, Charles, we need to understand. Uh, no, I lost my train of thought. Um, oh my gosh, I forgot.
We have to fight selfishness and pride. Huh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We have to fight selfishness and pride,
In ourselves first.
but I remember what I said.
Okay.
Let's bring this to a mediumship session in which we have a obsessor. The only way in a dialogue with this obsessor, which is a spirit evolution like we are, there is no bad or wrong. It's just someone who doesn't have the same understanding as we have. But in this convert dialogue, if the indoctrinator is able to explain all the bad situation, the bad things happen to that spirit in that moment, and this spirit is convinced and say, "Well, yeah, I think you're right. Let me try something different because I'm trying to do the same thing, and I don't move forward. I'm always in this condition. Let me try something different." And then when he tries something different, things happen. That's what happened with our evolution. Like you say, oh, the humankind can be devastated. Yes, no, that's a possibility, always a possibility, but it's always in our own goodness. It's not punishment. It's sometimes Now we are in the winter here. We miss the sun. We miss the warm weather. So we only have something or sometimes we need to lose to give it the real value to that thing. No, Ms. Gibbons, you're too quiet.
I am listening to the two of you, and I mean that's true, isn't it? We are in a period of transformation. We cannot deny it. There are a lot of more spirits being born here, but we know that there are a lot more spirits of the earth that are waiting to reincarnate. And as Charles explained, to many spirits, that's the last incarnation that we'll have on earth, because the planet is changing, is moving forward, is progressing. And there is no place for people who want to hold back the progress of humanity. Is impossible. So they will reincarnate in another planet that is far behind us in many ways. But it's also, even though they're going to have more difficulties, it does not mean that's a punishment, because even though they are holding back here, they have the knowledge to help the other people progress, because they're far behind us. So they'll be helping them to progress, and in doing that, they'll be able to re-educate themselves towards a more humane way. Because in that thing in Genesis, he also said, in our age has been designed for the fulfillment of certain things. It is because in the evolution of the whole, they have their reason for being. And he states, thus stated, we'll say that our globe, which is our earth, like everything else, is subject to the law of progress. It progresses physically through the transformation of the elements that compose it, and morally through the purification of the incarnate and discarnate spirits that populate it. So both of these areas of progress accompany each other and march in parallel, because the perfecting of the habitation is in keeping with the perfecting of its inhabitants. So the earth is going through a lot of difficulties, and global warming, and as part of it is created by man. There is no denying it. But it's not only that, is that the planet is changing. The earth has gone through many transformations. There was a time in this planet that the air was carbon. We would be able to live here. And it's moving, it's changing, our bodies are changing. And as we progress, the earth is changing, is moving, is progressing. And we are also progressing morally, be it, for the new world to come. And because we might not have, because I think going from one point that Charles was saying, we are very attached to material things, to things that, because if we have two cars, or if we have a Maserati, we are more important than the people next door who maybe have a Honda or something, because we see material things as a thing that shows who we are. And if you are able to have a dress from Versace, and other people go to TK Maxx or something, and I think that's the problem, because we see each other. Instead of seeing who we are, we see what we look like, or what we can wear, or what we can own. But in the future, with the development of science, life will be a lot easier, will be much simpler. We will not have or need any excess of stuff that we don't really need. In many ways, it would be like in the past. We had a coat to keep us warm. We had enough to keep us warm to survive. But now, with this materialist way that we've been living now, we have lots of things that we don't need. We simply we buy because it's just part of it, the whole thing. But in the future we're going to have a much easier life because the spirits will be more advanced. They will need less, they will put more emphasis. I think Charles mentioned that as well, more in the needs of the soul. That we'll do things that will please us, that makes us happy. And you know, if we have two shoes, we give one to somebody who doesn't have one. So it would be a more equitable kind of life. And we will have what we need, and everyone will have what they need. But this needs a moral progress. And, you know, it's almost like we feel that we're being pushed, you know, whether we like it or not, we're being pushed forward. And either you go through and let go of the stuff and you know, all the ambition and all the hatred and all the anger and all the desire for power and for a piece of land that you not even fit you when you die, and you will go, you know, it will be spent, will be left behind. Then we'll be able to, when we are more in solidarity, more helping one another, because one's happiness depends on the other person's happiness. It will happen, it will come. But until the old ways, I mean, you know, like the spirits tell us in this, the old ways, people hold on to the past, to their power, to their everything. And eventually they will have to let go of it and learn better. So life will be a lot easier. The values will be different. So we'll be valuing things that are more in consonant with our spiritual needs, rather than just emphasizing that we are more important than somebody else because we can afford better clothes or a better car or a better home or whatever it is that seems to imply, you know, people. And even a kind of attitude, because, you know, we have people, you work all your life, you know, you give and you bring up your children, your family, but after a certain age, you know, you retire and people think you have no value because you're not working anymore. They don't realize that sometimes when you retire is when you work more, but you're working things that are pleasant and nice. So I think in a future time, we will work for survival, definitely. We always need to do that. It's part of our growing as a spirit to work in different things. But we will not work like 50 hours a week, you know, we work 30 that we can survive, and then we be able to go and learn the violin, go to learn ballet or whatever it is, or be a scientist or whatever. So I think life will be better, not just yet, but it will come, because that's laws, that's God's laws, and our planet is growing as well. And if we don't go with the push, if we don't go with the law, we'll be falling on the sideways, and in that we'll be going back. And personally, I don't think I would like to go back to another planet and we start all over again. I don't think I could cope with that. So I'm trying to be as good as I can now, you know, to go forward.
Wow. It's uh, let's say Leonardo Pedro. He agreed with you, Charles, and he stated here, excellent observations, Miss Silvia. We are having an experience on the planet Earth, and this beautiful star is progressing as everything in the universe.
It's an interesting remark, by the way, because what mainstream science is now admitting more and more is that, as we know perfectly, for instance, that the sun is a star, so it's fusion of hydrogen fusioning into helium, and there will be one day there will not be any hydrogen anymore to sustain this nuclear reaction, And like all the stars, the sun will turn into a red giant. By the way, at that moment, so this will happen in a couple of billion years from now. So it's not tomorrow, but it will happen. And as a red giant, the diameter of the sun will encompass not only Mercury and Venus, but also the Earth.
Yeah, and Mars.
So,
Mars.
everything is somehow evolving. Silvia mentioned quickly the law of destruction, which is necessary to regenerate. Destruction, in fact, is not a destruction; is just a transformation. And what we can see also as very interesting in the universe is uh, we have the law of entropy, the second principle of thermodynamics, isn't it? Which is always increasing. I mean, you have the disorder is always increasing. And nowadays, the scientists admit that the universe, the one we can see, will have an end. It will extinguish because the sun will extinguish, as the other stars, and so on. And then what will happen? It can be a kind of an extinction of the whole universe. But of course, this is now mitigated through the last observation of James Webb, showing that there was not only one big bang at a given point in time and a given place in the universe, but more likely there has been several big bangs at several points in time and several places in the universe. So that is where we can see this process of transformation, this process of regeneration, even in the universe, exactly as Leonardo is explaining. What we also see is the spirits, our spirits, all the spirits are progressing. Even if the entropy, as a second principle of thermodynamics, which applies to matter, is always increasing, so the disorder is increasing. For the spirit, it's the opposite. We are evolving, so we are getting better and better. So it's a little bit like it would be a kind of an exchange, that spirit is evolving, using the matter, which at the end is increasing the disorder. But again, all this is being recycled by our Father, the God. So, of course, there is a lot of progress still to be made in order to understand all these things properly. But for sure, what we know is all the spirits are evolving. And this is why the planets where Earth, like the Earth, where the humanity, all the spirits are evolving, the planet itself is also evolving, but it's not the material planet. It's the planet, it is the spirits which are incarnated on the planet, which are becoming better. And
But,
then, of course, they will
sorry.
also cope very easily with more difficult life conditions as the one we had in the last decades or centuries or even millennium.
But also, we'll be losing our bodies, won't we? Because as we evolve spiritually, our bodies are transforming as well.
Yes,
It's
we give them
changing.
back to nature.
We will have less needs of lots of things because our
Exactly.
own bodies will be changed. So, great thing, great stuff.
Wonderful stuff.
So
Yeah.
we have all to be optimistic. There will not be a big catastrophe, end of the world. No, we are going to something better. So this is really the positive message of today.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Okay. So thank you, Marco Davis, for being here with us. Leonardo Pedro, thank you for your interactions. Verônica Imbuído, Camila Lanzillo, thank you. Thank you for your time here. And let me share. Well, we have just one announcement here. The topic we haven't decided yet because we are close to Christmas. Let's see if we're gonna talk about Christmas or not. What we're gonna present, but I want to emphasize to everyone that this Sunday we will have a round table at 7 p.m. London time, with all the speakers who gave a talk throughout the year about Gabriel Delan. So, and Munir will be our hoster, and he's mediating everything. So, it's a missable opportunity to have all these 9 people, no, 12, no, yeah, 12 people here talking about Gabriel Delan, or discussing about Gabriel Delan. Okay, so once more, thank you, my friends, for your time. Thank you for all the questions, the participation, Leonardo and Marcos. Thank you. And I'll see you next Wednesday. Thank you.
Thank you.
All the
Good
best.
night. God bless. Bye.